The Indiana Fever entered Game 2 of the 2026 WNBA season with pressure already building. After dropping their opener against Dallas in heartbreaking fashion just a few days earlier, the last thing Indiana wanted was an 0-2 start. Their first road test of the year brought them to Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, where the Sparks were equally desperate to avoid opening the season with back-to-back losses. Both teams came into the night hungry. Both teams had questions to answer. And by the end of the game, Caitlin Clark made sure everybody watching understood exactly what kind of season Indiana might be capable of having when she is healthy and fully in control. Coming into the matchup, there had been concern surrounding Clark's health. During the season opener against Dallas, she exited the game twice because of back discomfort. Throughout the week, Indiana managed her workload carefully, making sure she could recover properly before the trip to Los Angeles. Before the game, Clark told reporters she felt great physically and was focused only on helping her team secure its first win of the season. What followed was a complete masterclass in floor control, playmaking, leadership, and timely scoring. Indiana also received a major boost from the return of Monique Billings, who made her regular season debut after missing the opener. Her physicality and rebounding presence immediately gave the Fever something they badly lacked in Game 1. Meanwhile, Miesha Hines-Allen quietly reached 500 career assists during the game, and rookie guard Raven Johnson continued to show flashes of the playmaking instincts that could make her a major contributor in the league for years to come. But Los Angeles was far from an easy opponent. Kelsey Plum remained one of the league's most dangerous scorers, capable of erupting at any moment. De'Erica Hamby continued to be one of the most versatile forwards in the WNBA, impacting the game in ways that don't always show up on the stat sheet. Nneka Ogwumike brought veteran experience and leadership, while Cameron Brink entered the game motivated after injuries had already disrupted the early part of her professional career. The atmosphere inside Crypto.com Arena reflected the urgency of the moment. The crowd was loud, the energy was high, and both teams understood how important this early season matchup could become. The game opened poorly for Indiana. On the very first possession, Kelsey Plum disrupted Clark before the offense could even get set up, leading to an early Sparks basket. But Clark responded immediately. She attacked the mid-range area on Indiana's next trip down the floor, converted the shot, drew contact, and completed the three-point play. Moments later, she stripped the ball defensively and turned the turnover into another easy Fever basket. Just like that, Indiana grabbed control. Within only a few possessions, Clark had already impacted the game as a scorer, defender, and playmaker. The Sparks answered with strong shooting from Plum and Hamby, refusing to let Indiana create separation early. But every time Los Angeles landed a punch, Clark responded with another momentum-changing play. She found Billings for a corner three. She threaded a perfect pass to Kelsey Mitchell cutting to the basket. She disrupted Plum defensively again and pushed the pace in transition. The first quarter quickly turned into a showcase of Clark's ability to dictate the rhythm of an entire game. Every possession seemed to run through her decision-making. Every Indiana scoring run started with her creating an advantage somewhere on the floor. By the end of the opening quarter, Indiana held a 24-20 lead, and the energy inside the arena had already shifted. The Sparks were competing hard, but Clark looked completely in control. The second quarter was where Indiana truly broke the game open. Raven Johnson started the run by setting up Mitchell for a deep three-pointer that energized the Fever bench. Then Clark checked back into the game and immediately began carving apart the Sparks' defense. She found Cunningham for a three. On the next possession, she found her again for a layup. Every defensive adjustment Los Angeles tried seemed to create another opportunity somewhere else on the floor. Clark read everything perfectly. Indiana's offense moved with precision, confidence, and pace. Mitchell caught fire during this stretch as well, delivering one of the most efficient halves any player would produce all season. She scored from everywhere: transition pull-ups, catch-and-shoot opportunities, mid-range jumpers, and aggressive drives to the basket. The Fever offense became impossible to slow down. Clark connected with Hines Allen for easy mid-range looks. Mitchell continued raining in shots. Indiana's ball movement forced Los Angeles into constant defensive rotations, and the lead kept growing possession after possession. By halftime, Indiana had built a commanding lead, and the game felt firmly under their control. Mitchell already had 17 points on extremely efficient shooting, while Clark filled the stat sheet with scoring and playmaking. The only negative moment for Indiana came at the end of the half when Clark picked up a technical foul after a brief exchange with officials, allowing Plum to convert a free throw before the teams headed into the locker room. Still, the Fever had dominated the first half. But Los Angeles was not ready to quit. The Sparks opened the third quarter with urgency and immediately went on a run that trimmed Indiana's lead. Plum attacked aggressively, the crowd came alive again, and for a brief moment, it looked like momentum might be shifting. Indiana responded exactly the way great teams do. Clark drove baseline for a difficult finish to stop the run. Cunningham grabbed an offensive rebound and scored through contact. Mitchell knocked down another big jumper. Just minutes after the Sparks threatened to make the game competitive again, Indiana rebuilt the lead back to nearly 20 points. That sequence perfectly captured what made the Fever dangerous throughout the night. Every time Los Angeles threatened to climb back into the game, Indiana had an immediate answer. Billings delivered key rebounds and free throws. Hines Allen converted steals into transition points. The Fever bench continued bringing energy and defensive intensity. And through all of it, Clark remained the engine controlling everything. By the end of the third quarter, she had already piled up 15 points and 7 assists while completely controlling the pace of the game. Indiana entered the fourth quarter with a comfortable lead, and the result appeared settled. Then came the late-game drama. Aaliyah Boston fouled out midway through the fourth quarter, removing one of Indiana's most important defensive anchors. Shortly afterward, Indiana committed several turnovers that gave Los Angeles life. And Kelsey Plum took over. Suddenly, every shot she took started falling. She hit pull-up jumpers. She attacked the basket. She got to the free throw line repeatedly. The Sparks went on a furious run that cut Indiana's once massive lead all the way down to single digits. The crowd erupted back to life, and for the first time all night, real pressure returned to the Fever. Indiana needed one calm possession to stop the chaos. Clark delivered it. She received the inbounds pass, surveyed the defense without panicking, and waited patiently for the right opening. Then she fired a perfect pass to Mitchell cutting toward the basket for a layup that pushed the lead back to a safer margin with under a minute remaining. It was the defining play of the night. Not because it was flashy. Not because it created a highlight. But because it showed complete composure under pressure. Los Angeles still had one final opportunity after another Indiana turnover. Plum caught the ball in the corner with a chance to cut the deficit even further. But the shot missed badly. Game over. Indiana Fever 87. Los Angeles Sparks 78. The Fever secured their first win of the 2026 season and improved to 1-1. Clark finished with 24 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. She also committed 6 turnovers and picked up the technical foul earlier in the game, so it was not a flawless performance. But what stood out most was how dominant she remained even without relying heavily on the three-point shot. She controlled the game in multiple ways. She attacked the paint. She created opportunities for teammates. She dictated tempo. And perhaps most importantly for Indiana, she played over 30 minutes without any visible physical setbacks. That might be the biggest takeaway from the entire night. Kelsey Mitchell added 23 points and was spectacular offensively throughout the first half. Cunningham thrived as a secondary playmaker and scorer, benefiting from several beautiful setups created by Clark. Billings brought the toughness and rebounding Indiana desperately needed, while Hines Allen contributed across the board in quiet but impactful ways. For Los Angeles, Plum finished with 25 points and nearly dragged the Sparks all the way back into the game by herself. Hamby added 16 points, Brink contributed with scoring and rim protection, and the Sparks continued fighting despite losing Atkins to a head injury during the second half. But this night ultimately belonged to Indiana. After the disappointing season opener, the Fever responded with toughness, composure, and offensive firepower. Most importantly, they looked like a completely different team when Clark was healthy and commanding the floor. Indiana now heads into its next matchup with momentum restored and confidence growing rapidly.